Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with a recap. Oh my gosh, I literally can't speak. I'm not restarting the video. It is what it is. We're here with a recap of what's happening in WPF Speed Division here. Uh, Let it be known we have been cooking. However, we have not been cooking on this specific server in terms of video content. Why can't I turn this down, bro? This sound is like way loud in my ear right now. Um, Whatever. Let me just quickly there. Anyway, yep, this is gonna be a recap. I'm gonna be putting the timestamp to each battle below, so you don't have to watch any of the boring stuff. There will not be any team analysis, team builder, and or matchup analysis. It's just gonna be straight hands all the way through. If you're my opponent, congratulations. I mean, more likely than not, it was a hard game because I've just been busy. I wish I could do all that, but I can really pick between ADL and WPF, and ADL is more enjoyable for me right now. So that's what we're gonna be doing seriously on the channel. But nobody cares about that. Instead, what they do care about is what your favorite food is. Put that in the comments for the funsies. And if you're my opponent, I especially bet you better do that. I'm gonna reiterate that every single battle, so you better do that. Anyway, this is the matchup here. We're playing against Zebstrika down, which had the best team in the preview or whatever, or in the PRs. I think my team was like third or fourth overall, which is pretty good, honestly. Not that bad. I'll take it. But his team was number one, and I knew this was gonna be a hard matchup going into it, just because Spectre and Zebstrika is really good into my team. My normal is Staraptor, and Staraptor is bad this gen because it has no defog and it has no roost. And so the things that made it have longevity and was good, it no longer had. So I just kind of had to throw it on there. I think going back in retrospect, I wouldn't have brought that set. I wouldn't have brought this set at all. I am going to be putting the paste to the teams if I can find them in the description, so you can go ahead and look at those if you care it out. I'm not putting it on screen, but yeah, this is the matchup here. The Terra on his team is Haxorus, and obviously the Terra on my team is Regieleki. And so Haxorus Terra is very clearly potentially electric because Dondozo is very easily going to be unaware to check that. Dondozo unaware is good here regardless because body press Zamazenta and iron defense Zamazenta is a problem. It's potentially good against Spectre in the late game if Grimnai gets out of hand. And obviously it's good against Haxorus barring, Mold Breaker, whatever. So obviously going to be Mold Breaker, obviously going to be Terra Electric or Terra Grass. If I were him, I'd probably go Terra Grass because it resists. Well, it's good because it resists Garchomp Earthquake, and it resists Earthquake from this guy Dondozo. So it's pretty tough. I think I'm Ice Fang, and I don't know what I am honestly, but let's just go ahead and get into the replay. I read a Regieleki because I have no brain. He has two ground types, so I am Terra Grass Regieleki. It's pretty tough for me because Regieleki is very good, but I don't have a single Terra that hits both steel types here, since they both have a good secondary type to counter the one that hits the other. And the rest of his attack, or the rest of his team, is pretty resistant to each other. So whatever Terra it is, once he has the Terra info, the game gets way easier for him. So I go ahead and give him that info turn one because I don't know how to play the game. I think I Terra Blast right away, do 36%. This reveals Spadef potentially. Yeah, Spadef. Well, definitely reveals Spadef and lefties. I get rid of the rocks right away because I can't be having that happen. And he reveals that attack. So I'll immediately our Regieleki's kind of getting trolled. Dozo comes out here, which is whatever. He volt switches on me and automatically I'm in a bad spot. Everything's chipped and he has rocks up. And my Dondozo's out on the field against this Gastrodon. Gastrodon has spikes here, which is pretty bad. So I bring in the Regieleki because I don't want spikes and rocks all up in my face. I go ahead and I think I Rapid Spin again. No, I Terra Blast because I'm the GOAT. I Terra Blast and force this out here. Rapid Spin is Spectre, which is pretty safe, but he just goes Florgus. Yeah, that's very safe for him. Fine play. I go ahead and Rapid Spin these away just because I think they're not really good to have around, and he's going to go for a Wish every single day of the week to get his Iron Treads back up to full. I think right here we see a Moonblast potentially. I don't really remember. A Baton Pass, very good. So Iron Trick comes out here. We're not faster. I believe we're Choice Banded because that's the only set this Arcanine is worth running on. And we're pretty afraid of an Earthquake. So I switch out, take more chip on the Dozo, and give momentum all in the same play. So great play by my opponent. I'm completely controlled here. I'm playing like I don't know how to play the game in this game. And I feel it. Turn 10 or turn 9, I can feel that I'm getting read like a book right now. I bring Raptor in because I don't want to take this Earth Power and because I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I just U-turn out here. Please tell me. I Final Gambit. Oh, I'm him. That's right. I brought Final Gambit. So I brought Gambit here because I thought the check for this would be Gastrodon, and getting Gastrodon out of the way was goated. I think getting Iron Treads out of the way is goated as well. I bring Regieleki in. That's part of hype, actually. That's kind of hype. I forgot I did that. I'm not sure what I was trying to get. Maybe Zamazenta. I don't know. I think I was probably trying to get Gastro, because close combat, two close combats always kill the Iron Tread. So I think that, yeah. Okay, I think that was a weird play by my opponent. I think maybe like risking the 2 attack Iron Treads with CC is like very risky. Obviously, it was the right play because getting rid of Gastrodon would have been super hype there. This is a Will-O-Wisp Arcanine. Can't really tell you why. Probably something on the bench. Even so, wow, that was unlucky. I don't know what I'm cooking here with this Rock Blast set right now. I'm going to assume there's a flying type I got to be worried about. I switch up my Regieleki into an Ice Beam because I don't really want that Regieleki, I guess. I bring this Iron Valiant, and I go ahead and SD here, which is pretty great for me. I'm in a pretty good spot here. I can take 2 of those, barring a crit. Florges comes in here, and I believe I close combat it. Okay, sick. So I CC this thing, get it in range of Spirit Break. And then right here, I think like I've got the game because this thing is like I cook him, right, because this is actually the defense one. I think that does like quite a bit because he brought this in. This is where I learned a very valuable lesson in that, number one, every time, like, okay, wait, I'll rephrase. Iron Valiant has more sweeping potential than I thought. So Iron Valiant in every single matchup is an automatic threat for sweeping, and I really didn't know that because, I mean, I knew that obviously, but I've never played a Gen 8 draft before this one. I know it's been like out for a while, so I'm pretty behind on the game in terms of meta. And so this is where I learned that pretty much every time you have Iron Valiant, someone on the opponent team is going to respect the speed boosting set and have to bring a Scarfer or some form of priority to deal with that because they'll get mollywopped otherwise. So here, right in this position, I sort of swapped out potentially. I don't really know into what. The game was kind of over at this point, but this is a Scarf set here. If I switched out, there's a potential I maybe could have set back up and win, but it's very low. But Spectric picks up the Grimnai thing here. I go ahead into Arcanine here because I always live one, I believe. Yeah, so I think the right play there is to go hard into this guy and not get Spadef dropped. I think is the right play. After that, we force a lot here because I don't know what we force here. We probably force in Gastro. I probably have to make a double back into Garchomp maybe, or don't. I don't know. I think the game's unwinnable at that point, but I Rock Blast this thing. Just for a little bit of damage. I get 5 hits because I'm the GOAT and a crit, but it's not enough, obviously. This Spadef Trap ends the game for sure because if I think it ends the game regardless unless I'm faster than the Haxorus and the Zamazenta, which is unlucky. So this is going to go ahead and pick up the game here. I should actually kill, so I should kill this with Crunch, hype. Haxorus comes in here. I bring out the Garchomp on the Terra Blast Electric, or on the Dragon Dance. I Earthquake it because I am Scarfed. Yes. Oh, that's what I was worried about. Okay. Yeah, pretty hype. Actually, Scarf Garchomp was really good. I think actually that Spadef drop changes a little bit, and if I play better, it changes the game a little bit because I'm Scarf here. The Earthquake. Yeah, okay, maybe, but I think we always lose. Bringing this to a 2-0 is not that bad. It could have been better than a 2-0. We might have been able to win, but honestly, from me choking the Valiant, it's kind of a tough place to be. But that's where we learned that the opponent will respect Valiant way more than I think they will respect it. Which is good info moving forward because it means that I have a lot of Pokemon that force prep. Like, Arcanine's going to force prep every game. Valiant's going to force prep every game. And then Dozo, or not Dozo, but, Dozo probably, but Lucky will also force a major amount of prep every game. Because they can't take all 3. It's a very difficult offensive core to deal with. My team isn't that great defensively as well, so it's pretty tough. I think it is like this goes on for like ever. I think actually I can win here, but I get crit or I get Spadef dropped, so maybe I could have won there, but that's just hard cope. I would have needed to stall at the last Earth Power, and then I would need to stall at all Earth Powers. Only have 4 rests. I mean, maybe I could have won here. There's potential, but I think like for the most part it's cope. But I could have won there. So moving on. Next game, this is a game against Spider. And Spider, since you're watching from this timestamp, probably, if you didn't skip the first one, I need you to let me know what your favorite food is in the comments is. Because it's going to be hype once I know. So, Spider's up here. The rest of his team, obviously I'm not showing, but he has some pretty big hitters here. Dragon Ball team is always pretty scary. And Stoken Galar is fat and doesn't die. Alomola is also fat and doesn't die. And Tornadus Therian is the Terra user. I assume because he has no other good Terra user on his team. And you're not gonna not bring a Terra user. I feel like the amount of times I will not bring my Regieleki is like maybe once for a meme game, but other than that, it probably will always come. So I'm gonna assume that that's the case for my opponents as well. Um, I remember some of my sets here. This was a pretty heat team. So I have two trapping Pokemon. This Murkrow is Main Look Perish Song, and this Regieleki is Thunder Cage Terra Dark. The idea obviously is that. Oh, I remember this team. So this is an Iron Valiant with Specs. This is Specs modest Iron Valiant. This is trapping Regieleki, tracking Murkrow. This is S. This is lead Decidueye with Defog Leaf Storm to counter the lead Crocodile, which is pretty obvious because he does not want Regieleki leading. And then Swalot is glasses, is safety goggles to prevent Breloom from poisoning everything. It's also Toxic Spikes after the Cloaking Galar gets trapped and died. So pretty hype team. I believe I go ahead and lead my Decidueye like I planned. Hype. This guy comes out first. I believe I just Leaf Storm on the rocks. No reason really not to. And I take that turn right away. The opposition brings in Tornado Styrian, but again, this is not very useful, so I stay in and just U-turn out and defog these rocks away. So the first two turns is incredibly good in my favor. The reason I stayed in there and risked by Tornadoes is, number one, I actually might have lived there because I'm max Spadef, and two, everything that Decidueye does here, something else does better. Regieleki takes on his two bulky guys just as good since it's Terra Dark. So I switch this out because I don't want to waste it. Baton Pass comes in here to Breloom. I switch in my Swallow immediately because I can't get Toxic, can't get Spored, and I resist every single attack. And so I have the option to put a T-Spike here, but it's not really worth it. I think I just Sledge Bomb instead. Oh no, I put up T-Spike, that's fine. I put up one layer of T-Spike to put the pressure on and get Slowking in. This is good because now Slowking is forced in to take out this T-Spike. He thinks it's free here on the Murkrow, so I believe I Mean Look on the switch. Yeah, so sick. I did think that if the order of operations was always good for me because if T-Spike goes up first, it forces in Slowking on either Murkrow and Regieleki, so that's two options to trap it on the switch, which is amazing. And then if I trap it first, then put T-Spike up, everything gets Toxic, so that's hype too. So I put the Perish Song on 3 turns. He shows Calm Mind, which is pretty hype. I'm assuming this is Calm Mind Cobra Berry, since he no longer needs Kiba Berry on the Specs Valiant potentially. I protect here just to stall turns. He's going to keep calming on up. There's nothing really he can touch me with. I'm Eviolite Spadef here, and so nothing is really going to touch me. He probably does not have Ice Beam. I mean, he might have Ice Beam. I guess he's a Ground Berry or Dark Berry. I switch out here because Murkrow is going to be valuable as a sack later on. I just sack my Decidueye because it's not useful. Murkrow is potentially useful because it can probably trap a Alomola, so I decided to keep that over Decidueye. He gives me the Alomola like the next turn though because Data Breach is broken. Breloom comes back in here. I don't mess around and go straight into Swalot. And the game is pretty much in my favor. It's a winning position. It's hard to lose from here. I need to make a big mistake with Dragon Dance, Dragapult, which is very possible, so we have to be very careful. I Pain Split this guy. I think I Pain Split again here. No, I put up T-Spike. So I'm not sure what the late game T-Spike was doing here. I don't know what I was cooking. But he reveals Draco here. Very unlucky. The idea here was that I bring in this. If it's Specs, Dragapult, I die anyway. And if it's D-Dance, I can put up a Perish Song and at least force it out with Perish Song Protect and whatnot. So put up a Perish Song again, just to put everyone on a timer. This gives him only 3 turns. I mean, look, even though it can U-turn out, it's not really that big of a deal. Mischief is here to die so that I can get a clean switch into the Data Breach. If I was smart there, I actually probably would have done something else and then protected on this U-turn, and then I would have caught the Perish, which would have been a great play by me, but I missed that. That would have been really hype, actually. So this guy comes in, and my Mischief dies. I bring in Integrity here, actually, because I think I'm Scarf. Yeah, that's right, I'm Scarf. So I Moonblast this here. Yeah, I'm not Specs, I'm Scarf, because Scarf 2-hit KO'd everything after Slowking anyway. So that's pretty hype. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm Scarf here. So there's only option is to go into Tornadus. I believe I just sack off my... I bring in Regieleki here, which is pretty base by me, I guess. And this kind of ensures the win. So I think I just Thunderbolt here. Yeah, pretty hype. And then I turn into Terra Dark here, eat the Shadow Ball, because it can't really kill me. Yeah, that's pretty hype. Yeah, that never killed, but it is risky because I did risk crit there. It was kind of an L play by me. I don't know what I would have done if it went badly. And then I T-Ball. Actually, it was pretty winnable because I have, I think, Bandit Scizor. And so, yeah, it was actually very winnable. Hard to lose in that position, but... So we pick up the win. We're now 2-1. So that's pretty hype in WPF. GG's to my boy Spider. We've mocked for each other now since then, so I'd like to think we're at least acquaintances. That's pretty hype. But yeah, Good luck with the rest of the season. I'm pretty sure Spider's doing pretty well. I don't really remember. I'm not really keeping tabs on stuff like that. I just play my game and check my standings because I don't know. I'm normal. I'm a bad person, I guess. Sounds bad when I say it that way. But yeah, GG's. And on to the next one. So, Cookie. Oh no, Doctadiff. My bad, brother. I played Cookie round 1. This is another game where I learned quite a bit. So, the prep here is pretty interesting. I don't really know what the rest of his team is, but I forgot. Doctor, if you're watching this, I need you to let me know what your favorite food is. Put it in the comments right away. I just gotta know. I'm a fat guy. I gotta know everything about food. But yeah, this is pretty interesting here. This is another thing in prep. I realized that this is another team that needs to respect Iron Valiant because Iron Valiant is very strong here after a little bit of chip. Because of that, I think that Chien-Pao being scarfed is very, very reasonable. Or Banded Ice Shard is potentially reasonable, but then you need to risk getting the chip on Valiant. So, you never know. So I think I go ahead and lead Dondozo here because Dondozo is pretty safe. Dozo's very good this game. This Gyarados is Terra, so I'm assuming it's Terra Electric, Terra Blast. But, I'm just going to whatever. I go ahead and bring in the Dozo and some Chien-Pao. Or no, I lead Scizor. Great play by me. That's actually way better. Yeah, Dozo's good for Chien-Pao. But because I have 2 checks right here in Chien-Pao, I actually have 3. I think that Regieleki is faster, potentially. Actually, no. If this is Scarf, it's definitely not faster. Dozo and Scizor can both take on the Chien-Pao. Potentially, I just need to play correctly. So I bring in Scizor. I knew I should have CC'd turn 1, but I chickened out and I clicked U-turn instead, which is potentially okay. I mean, it is okay. I take a little bit of helmet chip, but it's fine. I bring in Garchomp here. Serena is very safe by my opponent, but I SD here in P-Jab. Serena goes down to 6% and Play Rough does nothing and it dies to Rough Skin. So that's pretty hype. Chien-Pao is forced back in here, but actually Landorus comes in. So this is actually really good for me. Landorus getting chipped is always really good. It's never not good because I believe I'm Terra fighting. I'm sorry. I believe I'm Terra fighting Regieleki and I'm not Terra Ice, which makes sense to me. Yeah, Terra fighting looks like it makes more sense to me. Or not. Maybe I'm forgetting what Terra I am. But Landorus coming here is very good. I think he's going to switch out, but I just go ahead and hit because whatever comes out, I'm fine with damaging. Earthquake doesn't kill me, and I Dragon Claw this for 84%, which is amazing. Now, normal Terra Blast will kill this. So I bring in my Regieleki with no respect and click normal Terra Blast and do 21% of the Hatterene. I go ahead and Thunderbolt it because it can't kill me. And then they Mystical Fire, which is annoying because it drops my Spadef and it doesn't shred to a KO. So I Volt Switch out here on the Draining Kiss. And because I respect the Draining Kiss, I go straight to Arcanine. He reveals Dazzle instead, which is fine. I Head Smash because nothing can take a Head Smash right now. Heatran can't take 2, and Landorus can only tank them. Gyarados comes in here, which is fine by me. I go immediately into Dondozo, and he reveals Whirlpool, which is really interesting. So now I'm thinking Whirlpool, Terra Blast, Electric, but then he reveals Thunderbolt, which is just as smart. Very great. I Earthquake here, and I just don't want to let it set up. Denying Gyarados setup is the most important part right now because our only form of priority, or we have 2 forms of priority, but it's fine. We really don't want to mess around with that. I bring in the Iron Valiant here, and I believe the Calc, I miscalc this. Moonblast always KO'd here, but Close Combat did not. I clicked Close Combat over Moonblast because it removed the need for a read, and I thought it killed anyway, but I should have just clicked Moonblast, so that was kind of an L by me. I bring in Regieleki because this always kills now with Rapid Spin. And now I am faster than Scarf Chien-Pao, which is pretty hype, but this could be Sucker Punch and whatever. So I go ahead and Terra Ice. What? Oh, never mind. I'm winning. I thought I just lost there, but I'm winning actually. So this is fine because I have Banded E-Speed in the back, and I have Close Combat with Scizor. So actually, we're kind of chilling. I wonder what Scizor said I am. I'm probably Scarf? That's what I would say. So I sack my Chien-Pao here just for some damage because, yeah, nothing can switch into Chien-Pao. So that's a fine play, actually. That's okay. He's locked in a crunch. I go into Scizor, and I believe I Close Combat here. Right? Sick. I Close Combat on the switch. They're dropping the Heat Rat, and now the team gets swept by E-Speed. So that's hype. Yeah, okay, great play by me. I think, actually, I may be an idiot. Oh, no. Great play by me. Either way, both of these guys are a win con. They both have Bullet Punch and or Extreme Speed to sweep. So actually in that position, it didn't really matter which one swept. I just got lucky with the Sucker Punch play to pick up the 2-0. So yeah, since I believe as soon as the as soon as this got brought down to this position, the game was over because there's really nothing my opponent can do from that position. Uh, Actually, no, the game is over right here. Game's over here on this read. Either one of these two win from that point. So yeah, fine play by me from that point on. Excellent. Yeah, so we pick up another win. I believe that means us we're 3-1 right now, and the next battle is with Chungus. So Chungus matchup was pretty interesting. Um, this was pretty difficult because he has a lot of setup mons. And so if you look at his team right now, Bronzong is Iron Defense, this is Dancer, Quiver Dance, this is Belly Drum, this is Bulk Up, this is Sword, the Dragon Dance. So all these guys have setup here. So I had to do a little bit more interesting things. I need to play around not setting up. And the Terra, I believe, Terra's always going to be Annihilate. Very silly for me to think about that. Terra's Annihilate. So Annihilate Terra Electric is very obvious again because it breaks the Dondozo, which is unaware. Very simple choice for him. So I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. No one's been very creative with their Terra yet. It has been like, which is kind of makes sense. If you have a good matchup with the Terra, you're not going to overthink it. So that's cool. This was kind of a difficult Terra for me to pick. I didn't go with Terra Fighting just because Terra Fighting, I could outspeed Chi-Yu Scarf, which is very important. My team cannot switch in Chi-Yu Scarf very well at all with Overheat and all that. But obviously the Dancer this guy right here completely destroys that. So actually on our team we have both the Unaware guy, which is really good, and this guy is Speed Booster with Destiny Bond. I'm very comfortable with using Destiny Bond here because we're faster than everything at +1 other than Roaring Moon, which Dondozo can take just fine. So Dondozo can handle Roaring Moon perfectly. It's not Terra, it's nothing. We're Unaware, we're Body Press, we're chilling. It also can take on the Azumarill perfectly fine, but everything else potentially is very dangerous. So I have a fast offensive Iron Valiant with Destiny Bond in the back just to trade something off. It does have normal moves as well, like SD and I think Moonblast Close Combat, but other than that, it is there to die, which is pretty hype. So looking at the lead as well, they have no ground type on their team. I go ahead and lead Regieleki right off the rip. And I just click Terra Blast Fighting and blast this boy into a new lifetime. So right away, we get rid of their best Pokemon, which is pretty hype. Annihilate comes in here. I don't want to hit this unnecessarily. I go into Dondozo on the double to Bronzong. That's fine by me. That means that that means he knows my primary check to that guy is going to be Dondozo, and I'm going to go into it pretty safely. I go ahead and crunch this Azumarill here. After we trade rocks, and we get the defense drop, which is really unlucky for my opponent. That ensures an Earthquake KO. And we take the futures here. So actually 2 Pokemon being gone right away is really good. And it means that the space for Dondozo is very good. So now Dondozo, the only thing Dondozo is like doing on this team anymore is taking care of Bronzong. This is dangerous. I go into Arcanine hard because I'm Choice Scarf Arcanine and I'm faster. Most likely he's probably Modest. I'm Jolly. So I threaten this out here. I go ahead and Head Smash hard into Annihilate. And because I showed him my switch in was Dondozo, am I assuming he's going to Terra Electric and Terra Blast right away, so I stay in and pick up the 2-hit KO there. Bronzong comes in here, which is okay. Again, now the only thing that Dondozo is doing here is this Bronzong here. I don't know the set yet, so I just go into Garchomp, and I think I have Spikes, potentially. Not sure what I was cooking there. Honestly, I don't know. But honestly, Garchomp is not very good anymore. Garchomp does not do anything. Chi-Yu is probably Scarf. It cannot touch Oricorio, and it's not touching Bronzong, so I'm not switching in on like crit or anything. I just go ahead and keep crunching, and unfortunately I crit my opponent there, which is really unlucky for them. So that's going to bring this down really low. My intention here was just to keep crunching until I got to like 50%, in which case Regieleki Electro Ball could kill. Which is pretty hype. So I was just going to stay in here and whittle this down regardless. If I didn't get below 50%, I was going to go into Dondozo and start whittling that down. If that didn't work, whatever. So this is going to take that out. Trade here. Kindness picks up another kill, which is pretty hype. And then I go ahead and go into Data Breach. This is always faster than both my opponents. If he goes into this guy on the Regieleki, I Volt Switch out. If he goes into this, I just Fighting move. So Terra Blast comes out right away. And then the Pom-Pom comes in. I think I just switch out hard into Arcanine, just try to preserve the differential. If he attacks, whatever. And so if he does, then he Quiver Dances, and I hit Smash and pick up the kill. So pretty hype game. Again, the hacks was really unlucky. I don't know how much it mattered because from this point on, I have like enough tools at my disposal. Worst case scenario, um, like I just keep crunching till he's at 50%. I go in Electro Ball and kill this guy. I mean, Pom Pom can come in. I will switch out anyway into Arcanine. If Arcanine misses, I always have the faster speed, and I can Destiny Ball and kill this, and then go back into Regieleki. So, I mean, I think the game was pretty safe from that point on. It is unlucky, but we had enough tools, I think, in our toolbox to play around that. Even with this miss here, assuming he's not Quiver Dancing again, we should be fine. But yeah, it is unlucky. Like, I'm not trying to take away. It sucks. But yeah, next game. This is the last one so far. Everything else from this point on has not been played yet. So we're caught up. Jiggly Pigs, I need to know what your favorite food is immediately. Please put it in the comments. But yeah, this is the last game. My opponent is cracked because their top four is broken. They had Ursaluna, Sneasler, Palafin, and Golden Go, and then Cleavor and Talonflame are no slouches as well. So this was a hard matchup to build for. However, I did notice in prep that Regieleki and with Terra Water is very hard for my opponent to deal with. Terra Water will give us a resistance to Jet Punch, which is great because we're faster than everything anyway. It'll help us at Ursaluna, and it helps us at Talent. Or we're already hitting Talonflame, but it helps us Cleavor. So this whole team kind of gets folded by Terra Electric or Terra Water, which is very good. It could be bad because Sneasler is always a good late game sweeper, especially if I accidentally let my Dondozo get killed. That's not going to be PogChamp. So right away, I lead Garchomp immediately. That was always my plan, to put up Spike, because this could be Sash, and then this needs to be chipped around if he wants to switch it around. So I go ahead and put up my first layer of a Spike here, and they reveal Body Slam, which is great. Not because it crits me. Crit is actually really unfortunate and matters a lot. I mean, it matters quite a bit. It matters a little bit, actually. It's not that bad. But I put up one layer of Spike right away, and because we see Body Slam and not Facade, or Facade, obviously, we know it's not Guts. This is probably AV. I get paralyzed, but I have Lumberry, so it's like whatever. I put up another Spike, so 2 spikes are up, which is really hype. Earthquake comes out here, so I'm gonna assume they always 3-hit. I'm gonna assume Body Press into 2 Earthquakes always KO, so that's why it doesn't really matter. Talonflame comes in here. I go ahead and close combat and almost give away my spikes right away, which is like annoying but not very bad. Ursaluna's at 52%. I need it a little lower. I'm gonna assume it's AV. I'm always assuming Ursaluna's AV. Takes 2 layers of spike here. I think I misread the calc, and I thought Terra Water always kills, but he lives on 1, which I believe is a very low roll. So that sucks. What that means is that we can no longer take on Palafin. So Palafin comes in here right away. Even Baby Palafin kills. It's at 10%. I bring in Dozo because he can't fool around with losing Finn. And I believe I just Liquidation here. I should Liquidation on the, so I Liquidate there. Earthquake here is very threatening for Golden Joe, so I go ahead and Earthquake here and bring that down to 13%. We're a little low right now, but we're still able to deal with Palafin and Sneasler potentially, so I bring in the Scissor here, which is AV, which gets completely, like, bodied by that move. I go ahead and Trailblaze because I thought maybe that Palafin was coming in, but it didn't. So I'm kind of getting folded right now. I think I just U-turn here because it's not really worth anything. Yeah, I just U-turn. That's fine. I bring in the Regieleki because Regieleki is once again free to pick up a kill. I use Thunderbolt because Golden Go is going to die anyway. So Regieleki in on anything that's not Palafin is a free kill. He gives me Cleavor here. Cleavor comes in here. He takes Spikes damage. I'm not slower than Scarp. And so I just take that down. Palafin comes in here now, takes 2 more layers of spikes. I just go straight into Dondozo because it's not worth flipping. I'll go straight to Scissor actually on potentially flip turn. Yep, great play by me. So that's like whatever. Actually, it's not a great play. Sneasler comes out here. I thought Golden Go was the Terra this whole time, but actually it's Sneasler. So I kind of get trolled for a little bit. I Thunderbolt that guy just to, sack it to chip. Fade comes back in here. I switch back into Dozo now. And now Dozo's in a position to sweep here. So I just go ahead and keep clicking Earthquake here. I think. Or I click Curse. Earthquake here, yeah. I think I rest here. I should always rest here. Hype. So I rest there. And now the game is pretty much sealed. Nothing really my opponent can do here. I have Extreme Speed in the back with Arcanine and I'm Bandit again. So Sneasler just needs to get hit once. Once I wake up from this, I will kill this guy and just attack Sneasler. And yeah. So any attack in his Sneasler here will ensure the OHKO from the Arcanine. So right here, game is over. Arcanine sweeps. I believe my opponent, Dire Claw, puts me to bed, I think. which again is fine. There's no way for him to recover his health right here, and he gives himself a -1 defense drop. Oh, actually no, he doesn't, but it still does not matter. Our E-Speed always kills here, so GG's to Jiggly. I think we do pick up the 4-0 though. Yeah, we pick up the 4-0. So, yep, that's what's been going on in WPF. If we look at the standings, let me go ahead and pull that up. If it ever decides to load, that would be pretty hype. Let's go. If we look at the standings, I believe we're third. Oh wow, that's unlucky. Let me pull the screen. Oops. How do we do this? There we go. Look at that. Bam. So we're third right now. Plus 15. Best differential in the league, by the way. If I didn't suck so bad against Zebstrika, we'd be much higher. So next week, play JK. That'll be a fun one. And yeah, that's all I have time for today. Goodbye. God bless. Have a great day.